Okay, I'm interviewing Coach Larry Doty of the Linfield basketball team, and I have a few questions for him for my media monitor assignment. First question, can you recall what you read growing up, as in books, newspapers, or magazines?
Absolutely. Besides from the stuff that you read in school, my parents subscribed to Life magazine, the National Geographic. That was kind of it growing up, to be quite honest with you. We read out of Reader's Digest, which today wouldn't be looked at as one of the most informed sources of things to read. But those were kind of the things that we had around our family. And of course, back then everybody read newspapers, so the newspapers were always available.
Okay. Do you still today read National Geographic and, the newspaper obviously? Do you still use those same
Still
magazines?
still read the newspaper.
Okay.
So we subscribe to the Oregonian, also the local paper here, the News Register. And I read through, most of it. I wouldn't say front to cover, but I read all the sections and go through the entire paper, get rid of some of the ads and stuff that I'm not really interested in looking at. But no, not National Geographic anymore. Not Life magazine very often. Switched over to Rolling Stone magazine.
Okay.
They've got some really good articles in there, and they also always have some political articles in there, which is something that's of great interest to me. We subscribe to The Nation magazine, which is a left-wing, progressive publication. And then I read blogs, get on the internet. And so that's basically what we read now.
Okay. As far as listening, would you say you listened to the radio quite a bit growing up?
Yeah, I don't know about quite a bit because we were always outside playing.
Okay.
But when we did, when we were in the house, we did listen to radios. I can vividly remember listening to boxing matches when I was younger, real young. I mean, 5, 6, 7 years old. TV then had, basically there was 5 channels. You had 2, 6, 8, 10. If you had a pair of good rabbit ears on your TV, could come in, and 12. That was it. So like the game of the week, if you were watching something sports related, was the game of the week. It was the only game that was on TV. So they almost always showed the large market teams: Celtics, Lakers, Philadelphia 76ers, the Packers, the Giants. That's kind of the way the Yankees. That's kind of the way the Dodgers. That's kind of the way it worked. So the big market media's got most of the attention.
Okay. Would you say, what are some big differences, I guess, from now or from back then with TV and now today?
Well, there's 1,000 channels. I mean, even more than that. I think the access to what you can watch on television has changed drastically from the days of, when they wouldn't show Elvis Presley on the Ed Sullivan Show below the waist because it was considered lewd, to now, or Ozzie and Harriet, who were a married couple, and they slept in single beds in their bedroom. That was what they showed on TV. Obviously that didn't happen, but I mean, that's what they showed on TV. To now, I mean, come on. You can turn on a soft porn show any day, any time of the day. So you have to have like sensors on your television if you have kids to where they can't get into some of that stuff. I wouldn't want my kids watching some of the crap that's on reality TV nowadays, where they've got 5 people living in a house and they're calling each other a biatch, and it's just not, I mean, I realize that some people actually do act that way, but I think that the biggest way that the media has changed is through the internet. YouTube, videos, the internet, blog sites. That's the biggest way media has changed, and that's why printed news in papers, circulations have gone down. They've cut back. They don't print as many days a week. Price has gone up. And I would imagine that there'll be a time when newsprint is no more. It's out of date.
All online.
Yep. Easy access. Because it's like by the time you know, you get the paper in the morning, even if they delivered it at 6 a.m., it's old news.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what's going on in Portland right now, the occupation,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, the police coming in to remove everybody from the occupation. Well, they had all kinds of people down there. They were talking about on the radio, get down there, go with your cameras, go with your cell phones, videotape what's going on so that nobody got out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And that the police didn't do anything that they weren't supposed to be doing either. So that's changed things a lot.
Lastly here, how has this mass media over time affected your daily life? As you said earlier.
You spend so much time with email, you know, and especially like junk mail. You know, it's like just when you thought you could write to a place and say, take me off the mailing list, and you received less junk mail in the mail, now it's just on the computer. Or like when you go to a spot, you go to a website that you want to watch, and the first thing that pops up is a 15-second or 20-second or a 30-second commercial before you can actually get to what you want to see. So, you know, if corporations don't start controlling that, that'll be a good thing. If people still have free access to everything, that'll be a really good thing for people, because the media is really controlled by the right wing, conservative. They have way more radio spots, and so that's what people listen to. Same thing with television. And so there needs to be a balance, but where in the past that was controlled by laws, now it's not. Where if you were living in the town of McMinnville and they had so many hours of right-wing conservative radio, you had to have the same amount of hours of left-wing progressive radio. And that doesn't happen anymore because lobbyists have gotten in and paid off politicians and changed laws, and so it's completely changed the way, you know, people get their information. And you know, I think that's going to be that's the next battlefront right now, is trying to make sure that free speech stays free speech.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Coach and Professor Doty.
There you go.
Thanks for spending time and having this interview with me.
You bet, Tegan. Easy.